What up, peeps? Hey guys, I'm coming to you guys with a question today. Maybe you'll help me out. See, here's the thing. People like me, we jump online, we say cool things, we act like we're the gurus and we have it all together. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we need to look to other people. So I posted this up in Post Status today. Those in the WordPress world are probably familiar with Post Status on Slack. And I reached out to the agency channel on Post Status and I asked a question. And I started getting some feedback pretty quickly. But then I thought, this would be good content for a live. This doesn't just apply to what I do or working in WordPress. This applies to all entrepreneurs. You see, I'm one of those loudmouth people that gets on LinkedIn and is a keyboard warrior and tells people like, stop depending on corporate America. Like, I get it. Corporations have their place, okay? But I'm seeing a ton of people get laid off and looking for work, and I've put in 300 applications and I haven't gotten hired yet, and woe is me, what am I going to do? And when you look at their background, they have a background in middle management, leadership, marketing, inventory management, controls, and you see, well, this person's got skills. Like, these aren't idiots. These are skilled people. And so I'll jump on and I'll say, that's why I help people launch businesses. That's why I help startups get launched. That's why because I do, right? I create the web presence. I create the branding. I create the logos. I create the platform so somebody can launch themselves and do their thing, hang their shingle and go into business. But as your business grows, there's a transition that happens. See, when you first start as a solopreneur, you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, whatever phrase you love. But the thing I'm getting at there is that you're probably alone. You might have one or two people that kind of kick in or help or part-time or a task here or there. But for all purposes, you're alone, right? Now, as your business grows, as referrals come in, as things start to happen, things grow. Well, now you get to where, oh my God, there's only so many hours in a day. I can't do 11, 12, 14 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. I'm going to burn out. You start to feel like, what have I done? What have I done? And then you get more work and you do more sales calls and more, and you get referrals and things start to kind of spool. And it's like, so you created a job for yourself, but now wait a minute. You're like, you don't want to turn work down. You needed the money, right? So then, oh my God, what am I going to do? So you hire somebody, you hire a freelancer, you do a virtual assistant, there's a ton of different things and different business avenues to think about how you get the help to do what you want to do. But now remember, you're the business. You're not an employee anymore. You're the business. And so I'm just going to be transparent with you and tell you what's happening with me. What's happening with me is in the last quarter, Mañana No Mas has been invited to bid on over $2 million in projects. It doesn't seem real. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, it doesn't seem real. 2 years ago, I couldn't even imagine pitching to these kinds of people. I couldn't imagine 2 years ago, I couldn't imagine jumping on Zoom and presenting a technical web package to a room of 30 people that work in the government. I just couldn't imagine it. But that's what I did last week. Just last week, I pitched a project to the Department of Veteran Affairs to 30 people online that work in the United States government. That is a huge project. I have a couple of other projects that are large that I am currently being invited to bid on. And it does feel a little weird, feels a little bit surreal. So as these bids are coming in, as these projects are coming in, and I'm doing paid discovery and I'm doing sales and project management, all these things, you can imagine when I get a smaller task, when I get one that's $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, when I get something that is smaller, which honestly, 3-4 years ago used to be a huge deal. Used to be like if I sold a $3,000, web task, I'd be like, oh my God, $3,000. Um, and I'm still thankful for every bit of it. I'm thankful for every bit of it. But here's what happens: growth and transition is real. So I have to figure out, how am I going to project manage myself, and deal with these bigger bids and these bigger companies and these bigger projects, but still get these smaller things done and keep the cash flow coming to stay on task. Now, Mañana No Mas is known for always being on time and always being under budget. I mean, that's what we're known for. So the other stress I put on myself is, even if it's just a $1,500 task, if I told someone it's going to be done in 10 days, it's got to be done in 10 days. And it's got to be $1,500 because that's what I promised. So Mañana No Mas is all about meeting those promises. In fact, it's in the name, Mañana No Mas. You cannot put off until tomorrow what needs to be done today. So I put it out on Post Status as a question, and I'm putting it out to you as a question. When you make that transition, when you go from solopreneur, I created a job for myself, to I'm creating a company that has value. I'm creating something that might have an exit plan. I'm creating something that 10 years from now, I might be able to sell and exit, right? Do you understand how that happens, right? That's like the goal now of having business. And so let's say I sell a $3,000 web task. Well, if I take in that $3,000, but I farm the work out to somebody else that's qualified, and they get the job done by the deadline, and I have to give them $2,000 of the $3,000, is that acceptable? Now, keep in mind, we're here in the United States. Our money is different than everywhere else in the world. And I'm learning this more and more and more. If I wanted to get that job done in Vietnam, maybe it would cost me $500 or $600. If I wanted to get it done in the Philippines, maybe it would be $300 or $400. If I wanted to get that job done in Pakistan, it might cost me $1,000, $1,200. If I want to get it done by a freelancer or a qualified person in the United States, it's going to cost me about $2,000. It's just the way the economy is. So then I have to make the decision as the business owner. Do I farm this out to the Philippines and maximize my margin? Do I farm it out to Vietnam and have a solid, good margin? Do I farm it out in the United States, keep someone in the United States employed and keep their finances flowing, but give them $2,000? That in itself is a hard choice. I mean, we watch the news and we all have opinions, right? We see, make America great again and keep the jobs here in the country. But it's kind of hard to keep the jobs in the country when people in America need 3 times what other people in the world need to make ends meet. It's really, really difficult to have these types of internal conversations as a small business owner. Now, even though I've been invited to bid on over $2 million in projects in the last quarter, I'm still a small business. I still have to make these types of decisions. So, and I'm just expressing kind of the pain of it, right? So the conflict. And I was hoping to get some feedback from someone that might check in here and watch the live or have a comment later. But if I'm going to be real with you, and people are going to get upset when I say this, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. If I farm the work out to Vietnam or the Philippines, chances are there's going to be a language barrier, and chances are I'm going to get 80% of the task done and done well, but there's going to be 20% of the task where I'm going to have to go through, do a fine audit, maybe some design changes, make sure that the grammar is correct, and make sure that everything functions and is located where I want it in the website. If I have it done here in the States, I'm not going to have to really do that audit, that deep audit. I'm going to do a surface audit. I'm going to go page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. The data looks good. Here's the users. Here's the courses. Everything looks good. So if I do that, that's going to work. If I go with my guy in Pakistan, it costs me more to go through my guy in Pakistan than by people in the Philippines or in Vietnam. and he does a great job on data. But I might need to play with the design just a little bit. Okay. So you have to think of things like, what am I paying for? How much does it cost to me? Does it meet my needs? So you have to weigh all these things out. And as I think about being someone that works on the internet and having those choices of doing that, I have to think, where am I really wanting to be? What am I really wanting to do? So now here comes the obvious. And this is an obvious that's hard to stomach. It really is hard to stomach. Do I tell people, hey, I only use American providers, and so it's not $3,000, it's $4,000? I mean, are people going to pay 30% more, 33% more just because I say I have an American working for me? Does everyone else that I'm doing business with have the same internal drive to make America great again and use people from home? Oh, Bob McCann. Hey, I gotta go. Think about what I put and give me your response. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.